So do you think the person who you thought was your twin flame might not be? Here is a video of some signs of how you can tell if they're actually your false twin flame. Hi and welcome back. So twin flames is a hugely popular topic. I get asked about that a lot. And, you know, of course, people are curious and sometimes it's the real deal, sometimes it's the true deal. And twin flame connections aren't always easy. There's often intensity and vulnerability, and people who are twin flames can part for a while, but generally they're drawn back together. One thing a twin flame won't be, though, is abusive and toxic to you, and that's something I really want to clear up with this video, because I get people who are actually being treated awfully badly, thinking that they need to stay in that relationship because they think it's a twin flame. Now, A, you don't need to stay anywhere where you're not being treated with kindness and respect, and B, trust your gut. Your true twin will not abuse you or treat you like dirt or put you down all the time or things like that. That is not a sign of a twin flame relationship. So that's why I've been kind of felt the urge to make a video about a false twin and some signs of what a false twin is as opposed to a true twin flame connection. A false twin, number one, will not honour the connection and the commitment when things get hard. They will find ways to blow things out of the water and bust up. And they'll probably blame you for it too if they're false twins. So don't buy into it. It's their mechanism. It's their way of dealing with things. It's their way of blaming somebody else for whatever's going on within them. But a false twin will actually, even though things may get tough, they might get hard, they will be there. Even if you can't be together, you still know, you still feel that they're not against you. They don't hate you. They don't want to harm you. A real twin won't do that, whereas a false twin, yeah, you could have some concerns for your well-being and things like that if things go badly. Number two, a false twin will make you very anxious. You'll feel on guard, on kind of constantly kind of a little bit unbalanced, and you'll have anxiety, and you won't feel like you can really trust them, and you won't feel comfortable in their presence, whereas a true twin will kind of feel like home. You might still be afraid because it's intense and scary, but you won't be afraid for your well-being. You'll just be afraid of how strong and how powerful it is. So if you're afraid for your well-being, and that's emotional as well, not just physical. I'm talking about, you know, somebody who wants to destroy you emotionally is not your twin flame. Number three, intense uncertainty. With a true twin, things might seem a bit scary and a little bit overwhelming and things like that, but you won't constantly wonder if it's real, if it's true, should you be there. If you're constantly asking yourself that, it's probably a false twin. False twins have their reason and their place for being here. I'll talk about that later in the video, but yeah, a true twin won't make you feel like that. You'll actually know that even though things are hard, that you can count on them. Number four, that goes in with number three, is a false twin. You'll feel like every argument could be your last, that if you disagree or argue, that could be the end of it. And a real true twin flame, you'll kind of know that you can actually count on them. Even if things get a bit haywire and not so good, and intense and scary and all of that, you'll still actually know that they're still there. They won't just completely poof, disappear out of your life. You actually can still connect with them, even if it's energetically. But most often, you know, there's still some kind of connection. It won't just completely end just because you had an argument. Okay, number five, A false twin will move on very quickly. If you've had a relationship with a false twin, and quite often they're very on and off, a little bit like twin flame relationships, but what you'll notice with a false twin is they would have been a multitude or at least one other person quite quickly in their life. The minute it didn't work with you, they would have replaced you, they would have found somebody else. And if it's been a cycle that's been going on for a long time, there might be a multitude of somebody else. And believe me, the reason I'm talking about this is because I've been down this path and was with somebody like that and thought they were my twin flame briefly, but yeah, no, you don't replace a twin flame like that. It doesn't work like that. So if they're doing that, it's not a twin flame. Number 7, a true twin will have a vision for their life that kind of works with yours. It might not be the same as yours, but it's actually something you can make work together. It won't be like completely different, like, my vision for my life is to live in South America and do this and that, whereas theirs is completely different. Twin flames usually have had quite a few similarities in their lives, and then by the time they meet, they're actually both ready for the next level of growth and their spiritual well-being, and they'll know how to fulfill their purpose and how to move forward with that. Generally, your twin flame, if they're ready to have a relationship, should know what they're about in life and what their purpose and what their direction is, and a false twin won't. They'll it might change at any minute because they really actually don't have a clue what they're all about and what they're actually doing. So generally a real true twin flame, their life will be able to work in harmony with yours without either of you having to give up your purpose, your life path, your spirituality, your awakening. Those things are something, those key things in life need to work together for it to be a true twin flame. Number 8, another really big one, and it's such a dead giveaway, and I really should have put it as number 1, is a false twin will drain your energy. A real twin, you might get tired sometimes because there's a lot of energy there, but it's different. Whereas a false twin will just actually drain you, make you feel tired. You might even start having health problems because you're feeling drained and exhausted all the time. So whereas a true twin will actually kind of harmonize with you energetically, and you'll give each other a lift, so to speak, and be able to balance energetically. Whereas a false twin, because of where they're at, will actually drain your energy if yours is of a higher vibration. Number 9, if it's finished and they're gone completely, and you know that they have, and that you know that it's finished for good, then they weren't your true twin flame. Sometimes twins do separate because of life circumstances, and it's just not possible for them to be together, but they kind of stay connected, they stay linked. You still connect with them or feel them, or at least have some kind of connection or contact with them. They won't be hatred and can't stand each other and can't talk to each other. That's not part of a twin flame connection. So if they've completely ditched you and you don't want anything to do with them, or they don't want anything to do with you, they're not a true twin flame. Okay, so we've got number 10, the whole connection is more sexual than spiritual. There's a sense of that it's very intense sexually. There's a really big attraction there, but the rest of the time you don't feel as connected. You might not have a big emotional connection or even your conversation, and the depth of that might be lacking, and yet when you get into the bedroom there's fireworks. They can feel really intense and can be confused for a twin flame connection, but it's different, I mean, some people just have sexual chemistry and aren't good together. It happens. So, yeah, you need a connection on all the different levels. With your true twin, you'll actually connect emotionally and mentally and intellectually and physically. But if it's only the sex and the rest isn't so great, it's probably a false twin. And just a little bit of a warning that, you know, people with personality disorders can be very good in the bedroom because they've taught themselves how to kind of hook people in by doing that, by being very, very perceptive of what works for the other person there and really pushing the right buttons, so to speak. So, you know, if you're being abused but you have incredible sex, there's something out of balance. Don't fall for it. It's not a twin flame relationship, it's a false twin and potentially quite unhealthy for you. Number 10, feeling unsafe and insecure a lot. Everybody feels that a little bit now and then, but if it's your underriding feeling, if you just don't feel secure with that person, if you feel like you're kind of questioning their intention, if their behavior's been dodgy, then it's probably not your true twin. Somebody who truly loves you won't leave you in any doubt that you are the one and only person they want to be with. They will make that crystal clear to you, and they won't be mucking around having little flirtations here and there and everywhere. They can have friendships, but those friendships will have very clear and definite boundaries as to what's appropriate and what's not. So yeah, if you're feeling unsafe, that's a really big warning sign. If you don't feel like you're emotionally safe with that person, if you feel, you know, it could damage you emotionally or even physically, yep, not a twin flame. It's definitely a false twin and quite a dangerous one at that. So, yeah, you should feel safe. Even if you're upset or disagree, you should still actually feel safe with each other. So yeah, the whole false twin thing, you know, people go, well, what's the point in all of that? And yeah, I totally relate to that. It's an experience that actually teaches us very strongly what a twin flame relationship's not, and how not to get fooled and how not to get confused about it. And false twins do show us things about our past that are unhealed. They'll bring those old insecurities and things like that in us up, whereas a true twin will actually uplift us, and we may still get scared because they'll empower us to totally live our truth, our life, our mission, our purpose, and that can be scary too, but that's what a true twin flame will do. They won't intentionally try and trigger your old wounds and things like that. They might get triggered, but if they do, they will actually hold space for you. They'll be present with you and they'll help you deal with them rather than try and trigger them, you know. So yeah, the false twin does have their place. It's not a fun ride generally. It can be quite heartbreaking because it is intense, but it's also a very, very valuable lesson. And it means that when you do meet the true twin who you just feel safe and in harmony and secure with, you'll know. There won't be any doubts. You'll just know that that's where you're meant to be. And if you have doubts about whether the person you're with is the person you're meant to be with, then listen to those doubts. They're there for a reason. But with a true twin, you'll actually, even if it's scary, even if it's terrifying, you'll still know that it's worth it and that you've got to move forward and keep going with that person because you're where you're meant to be. So yeah, anyway, if you've got any comments on any of this, leave them down below. Please like and subscribe, and click the notification bell icon thingy, because otherwise, yeah, YouTube won't let you know when I upload more videos. So lots of love, everyone, and always honor your heart and always trust your intuition. See you in my next video.